Gopijana-vallabha Vivarta Jana-vallabha Vivarta Yashodhanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Nana Yashodhanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Dhanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaur Premanande, Jai Om Vishnupad Parahasparishadya Ashtu Satis Divine Grace Abhicharan Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Parahasparishadya Ashtu Satsi Srimad Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Maharaj Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Puran Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 18, Chapter 70, Verse 27. Hare Krishna. Loke bhavan jagat ina kalaya avatirna लोके भवन जगती न कालायत अवतीर्णाम लोके भवन जगती न कलया अवतीर्णाम सत्रक्षणाय खलनिग्रहण्य च अन्याम् सत्रक्षणाय खलनिग्रहणाय च अन्याम् रक्षणाय खलनिग्रहण कश्चित्त्वदीयम् अतियति निदेशम् ईशाम् कश्चित्त्वदीयम् अतियति निदेशम् ईशाम् किं वा जना स्वाकृतं पृच्छति तत् न विद्वान् किं वा जना स्वकृतं पृच्छति तत् न विद्मः लोके भवन जगत् इमखलाय अवतीर्णा सत्रक्षणाय खलनिग्रहण्य च अन्याम् कश्चित्त्वदीयम् अतियति निदेशम् ईशाम् किं वा जना स्वकृतं पृच्छति तत् न विद्मः किं वा जना स्वकृतं पृच्छति तत् न विद्मः हरे कृष्ण लोके भवन अगत इनः कलयातीर्णाम् शत्रक्षाणाय खलनिग्रहण्य च अन्यम् कश्चित्त्वदीयम् अतियति निदेशम् ईशाम् किं वा जना स्वकृतं पृच्छति तत् न विद्मः लोके भवन जगत् इन्हा कलाय उत्तीर्णाम् सत्रक्षाणाय खलनिग्रहण्य च अन्यम् कश्चित्त्वदीयम् अतियेति निदेशम् ईशाम् किं वा जना स्वकृतं पृच्छति तत् न विद्मः हरे कृष्ण ओम ज्ञानतिमृन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्तं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपथगमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं सजीवं साद्वैतं सवधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधाकृष्णपदा सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपीश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चना गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुतदेवी नमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्रीमद्भागवतम कैंटो 10 chapter 18 verse 27 word to word meaning. Loke into this world. Bhavan, you, Jagat of the universe. Ina, the predominator. Khalaya, with your expansion, Baladeva, or with your time potency. Anatirna, having descended. Sat, the saintly. Rakshanaya, to protect. Khala, the wicked. Nigrahanaya, to subdue. Cha, and. Anya, other. Kashit, someone. Twadiyam, your. Atiyati, transgresses. Nidesham, the law. Isha, O Lord. Kimva, or else. Jana, a person. Swa, by himself. Kritam, created. Richati, obtains. Tat, that. Na vidmaha, we do not understand. Translation. You're the you're the predominated Lord of the universe, have descended into this world with your personal power to protect the saintly and suppress the wicked. We cannot understand, O Lord, how anyone can transgress your law and still continue to enjoy the fruits of his work. Sridhar Swami explains that the kings were bewildered by the suffering that had come upon them. They state here that since the Lord has descended into this world to protect the pious and punish the wicked, how is that Jasanda, who brazenly transgressed the order of the Lord, continued to perform his wicked activities, whereas the kings were put into a miserable condition? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur similarly states that the kings could not understand how Jasanda, who harassed the saintly devotees and nourished the envious, could continue to prosper, whereas the kings were being tormented by the wicked Jasanda. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada quotes the kings as follows on Krishna, the Supreme Personal Godhead. My dear Lord, you are the progenitor of all the worlds, and you have incarnated yourself along with your plenary expression, Lord Balrama. It is said that your appearance in this incarnation is for the purpose of protecting the faithful and destroying the miscreants. Under the circumstance, how is possible that miscreant like Jasanda can put it up into such deplorable conditions of life against your authority? We are puzzled at the situation and cannot understand how it is possible. It may be that Jasanda has been deputed to give such trouble because of our past misdeeds. But we have heard from revealed scriptures that anyone who surrenders unto your lotus feet immediately becomes immune to the reactions of sinful life. We are therefore wholeheartedly offer ourselves unto your shelter, and we hope that your Lordship will now give us full protection. Hare Krishna. There are a lot of things in this. Messenger is coming to Lord Sri Krishna and informing about of King Jasanda, that he had arrested many of the kings. They were all your devotees. And Jasanda is a wicked person. How come he has transgressed your law, continue to enjoy the fruits of his work? It seems like Jasanda is progressing in his material this, whereas the kings who are devotees of the Lord, they are put into trouble. So it's the nature of the world that demons are always giving disturbance to the devotees. So that means devotee does not reciprocate. Yeah, devotees reciprocate to the demons. They don't, they retaliate, in other words. Generally, devotees are calm, peaceful. But here we see in this is the nature of the material world. Um there's always disturbances by a demonic class of people. They always try to give trouble. So here we can see this: you are the predominant Lord of this universe. The message is first glorifying Lord Sri Krishna. And you have descended into this world with your personal power to protect the saintly and suppress the wicked. So the devotees, actually a saintly person. What is the qualification of a saintly person? He is always engaged, glorifying the Lord. Always he's thinking of Krishna. He's offering his work, obeisance to Krishna. Is worshipping Krishna. In this way, he's always remembering Krishna. That's called a saintly person who's always absorbed in Krishna conscious. Satatam. Satatam means always. uh, Sent person engage in Krishna consciousness. That's qualification of devotee. Apichet sudruchara bhajati mam ananya bhava. Ananya bhava is constantly remembering Krishna. So this is a qualification. One should associate with a saintly person. Srila Prabhupada says this movement is meant for that purpose. People come and associate with devotees and take to Krishna consciousness. We cannot understand, O Lord, how anyone can transgress your law and still continue to enjoy the fruits of his works. So, fruitive work means to enjoy the fruits of the results of our act and become bound by this. Material world is called entanglement, attraction between man and woman, and then it causes bondage in this material world, especially when one engages in sense gratification, unrestricted sense gratification. Because human life is meant for self-realization, not for sense gratification. And but as living entities, we are marginal potency of the Lord. So it's by the mercy of, by in spiritual potency of the Lord, we can overcome this material. We have to be always in the shelter of Lord Krishna and his devotees, always in the association of devotees and Krishna, and then we can be saved from the onslaughts of the material nature. But as long we are under this law of nature, material nature, we have to suffer. That's why Prabhupada says, Yajna, Dana, Tapasya. One should perform sacrifice, one should perform penance, and one should perform austerities, and one should perform charities. One should not give up these things. So one has to obey the orders of Sadhu, Guru, and Shastra. So he doesn't obey the order of exalted personality, then he puts into trouble. So what the saintly person says, what the scripture says, one should follow these instructions. One should make it his heart and soul, like that. You are the predominating Lord of the universe and have descended into this world with your personal prayer to protect the saintly and suppress the wicked. So here we see this Jasanda seems like Jasanda has arrested all the kings, and they are very, the kings are all exalted personally called Krishna, and the messenger is coming and giving message to Krishna that they want your help, like that. And now why we are suffering, that we have transgressed the law. So the law of nature is very strict, and if we don't obey the law of nature, we'll be punished, because we are always under the law of nature. Example, suppose we eat more, we feel in trouble, we feel uncomfortable, or we feel sick. Or if we eat less, we are always controlled by the laws. We cannot, because like when one disobeys the state law, he will be punished. See, he disobeys the law of nature, he will be punished. State laws we can somehow this, but law of nature we cannot break it. We are tightly under the grip of nature. And nature is under the direction of Supreme Lord, as a Supreme Controller. Hare Krishna. As we sow the seeds of our actions, our mind, our desires, our activities, our action, we become implicated like this. our consciousness. So the mind, our desires, our consciousness, senses has to be engaged in the service of Krishna. It has to become purified. We have to elevate our conscious, not degrade our consciousness. Especially when years we see this, how even in the demigods there is a fight among the demigods and the demons. It seems the demons are overcoming the demigods like that. But it's the matter of time that finally the demons get destroyed by the Supreme Lord. So the Lord protects his devotee who is completely surrendered to him. Similar in this case, the kings were exalted personalities and performed their Jasanda is being killed by Bhima. Jasanda had got a benediction that he won't be killed by anybody because he was born in two parts. By he was joined by which named Jara. His mother's name was Jara. So his, you know, he was actually a king, had no sons, had many wives. Um, so then he finally get a benediction that a saintly person approaches him, gives him a fruit. So he eats the fruits, and but by this mistake, the king gives two of his queens. So the child is born in two parts, and then the king, seeing this futures, he throws in the forest, and Jara which joins, and he comes Jarasandha. So when Bhima is fighting with Jarasandha, he cannot defeat Jarasandha. But finally, Krishna shows that, indicates his thigh that, and then Bhima overcomes this and tears off his torso in two parts. In this way, Jarasandha has been killed by Bhima. So we see all in the demons, they seem to be powerful, but they are defeated. It's matter of time. So one has to, because this material nature is very difficult to overcome. Devi Ishaguna Maya, Mam Maya Duratya. Devi Ishaguna Maya, Mam Maya Duratya. These modes of nature are very difficult to overcome, but one who has surrendered to Krishna, he can overcome this laws of nature. That's all. So surrender to Krishna. So laws of state can be changed, but laws of nature cannot be changed. Suppose one performs some sinful activities, he has to suffer because he has performed some sinful activities. And this nature is working under the direction of Lord Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suyati Sacharacharam. So we have this very wonderful science of Krishna consciousness, Lord Krishna's daily activities. We heard about Krishna used to get up early in the morning and take bath with fresh water, and then he used to perform his morning this, and the queues should become disturbed because Krishna would be sleeping along, embrace the queue along the neck, and the roosters make sound and they get disturbed, and so they understand that Krishna will lose the company of Krishna. So the auspicious hour, morning hour especially, Krishna gets up before sunrise, and then Krishna performs his ritual. His active, he performs Gayatri mantra. He touches auspicious items like cows, brahmanas. He gives charity. He gives charity cows, and cows are very dear to the Lord. And this fragrant breeze coming from the Parijat, the bees are making sound, and the birds also, by this fragrance, they also get up by the sound of the bees, and they also sing like the poets. They glorify Krishna with their sounds. So beautiful this. And Kyun Vedarbi, she's cursing the roosters. It's because so all other Kyun's attitude is shown. And Lord Krishna would get up in the Brahma Muhurat and touch water. He would become very self-luminous, very, effulgent. So it says he would meditate on himself. So how come Krishna would meditate on himself? He is the cause of everything. He is the supreme. And how can contamination touch him? True. So all this creation universe, this is all pure blissful. Krishna is not under the contamination of this material world. Uh, he would meditate himself, known as Brahman. The most saintly would then bath in sanctuary, dress himself lower and upper garments, and begin the worship. So this is a very nice meditation. How we begin our day by offering respect to the seniors, like here it says, demigods, sages, forefathers, and worship the elders and brahmanas, and offer charity. Krishna is offering charity, wearing pearls necklaces, abundant of milk. This what they were given to him. The Lord Krishna would offer obeisance to the cows, brahmanas, and demigods, elders, and spiritual masters. He would decorate his body with ornaments of human society, with special cloths and jewelry, with divine flower garlands and ornaments. He then would look in ghee, mirror cows and bulls. The brahmanas and demigods, see, the members of all social classes living in that palace throughout the city were satisfied with gifts, and he would offer gifts. This is a very nice Vedic culture of. So we don't have cows, but we can. In my computer, I have kept all the cows cold. I see in the morning Guru Parampara. Hare Krishna. Where is the cow? Yeah, this is a cow. Nice. Cows, jewels, and Parampara. All this. Hare Krishna. Yeah, maybe someday, Krishna. Yes, Krishna. Yeah, if we desire, we have a strong desire, Krishna fulfills our desire. What we want. I want Krishna, or we want to stay in this material world. One should not try to expand his lifespan, but he should utilize everything in his energy in the service of Krishna. Satatam kirtayantu maham. That's what saintly persons are. They are always absorbed in Krishna. So here it says kings were built. Yeah, Lord Krishna, yeah, he would then look at ghee cows. So he used to offer respects to the elderly persons. He should offer nice paraphernalia to the personalities, and he would touch, see himself with ghee or mirror. Uh, and toward the city, he would offer gifts like that. So after first, and then he would accept all the sandalwood, flower garlands, the remnants of the Lord. And then he would finally partake it. And then the Lord's driver would come uh, in the chariot along with Sugriva and Balram Baldev. Then the chariot would bow down to the Lord, and then the Lord would touch his hand and climb over the chariot. The palace would look upon Krishna with shy glances. He would get free from them with very difficulty. Then he would then set off his smiling and face captivating their minds. The Lord, attended by all Vrishnis, would enter the Sudar Mahal, which protects those who enter. So this Sudar Mahal was built by Vishwakarma, one of the architect of demigods. And this hall, anybody would enter, and they would become free from the cycle of birth, old age, and death, like that. 6 ways of hunger, thirst, lamentation. Then the Lord would sit in the hall, and all everything would look effulgent. And the Yadus, so Krishna used to look like moon amongst the stars. And the king of and certain, so like that, Srila Prabhupada also says we have to boil the milk, like we have to make the milk condense. In other words, Krishna consciousness means we have to become like moon, like not stars, like. So one moon is sufficient to uh, brighten the whole sky. So like that, moon-like devotees, Srila Prabhupada used to say. Then thereafter, so if we what dilute the milk, then it will become useless. Everything will then spoil slowly. Then everything will become less. So we have to. So this is very nice teachings, like how Krishna is getting up early in the morning and taking a bath, and he's being the hearing of the humming of bees, birds, they get up, and the queues should be get disturbed. Then Lord Krishna used to offer charity to exalted personalities. He used to remember worship the sun. I offer respects to all this sun, brahmanas, and offer charity gifts, and then he will give the gifts, and then finally you take it, and then he would enter the assembly hall. The wives used to be get disturbed. So once a messenger came to Krishna, so so the doorkeepers announced it to Lord Sri Krishna. So with joint palms he bowed down before the Lord, and he reminded the king that Jasanda, Lord, now a number of kings were suffering because Jasanda had imprisoned them. 20,000 kings who had refused to submit absolute to Jasanda during his world conquer had been forcibly imprisoned by him in the fortress named Giri Raja. So 20,000 kings who did not obey the orders of Jasanda, they were arrested by Jasanda. And the kings those surrendered. The messenger is saying that despite they, you out of fear, they come to you. So one has to become always fear of this material existence. Also, this, yeah. So material existence means very fearful. It says padam padam yat vitam. This material world is a place of danger every step. But there's one thing that's good. That's the shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. One should tightly hold on to Krishna's lotus feet. Uh, so Srila Prabhupada says, in this life become Krishna consciousness. So that means always remember Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We have to always pray to Krishna. For remembering Krishna, we have to always chant the holy name of the Lord in the association of devotees. In this age of Kali Yuga, Yajanti Sankirtan Sumedesha. The Sankirtan is the prime benediction for humanity at large. The holy name of the Lord is non-different from Krishna. So one has to become free from offenses in order to chant the holy name of the Lord. But one should try to endeavor to chant, think Krishna always by chanting the holy name of the Lord. So much it's simplified like that. Hare Krishna. Sridhar Swami explains that the kings were bewildered by the suffering that had come upon them. The state years, since Lord has descended into this world to protect the pious and punish the wicked, how is that Jasanda, who brazenly transgressed the orders of the Lord, continue to perform his wicked activities, whereas the kings were put into a miserable condition? Vishwanath Chakravarti similarly stated that kings could not understand how Jasanda, who harassed the saintly devotees and nourished the enemies, would continue to prosper, whereas the kings were being tormented by the wicked Jasanda. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada quotes the king as follows in Krishna, the Supreme Personal Godhead. My dear Lord, you are the proprietor of all the worlds. You incarnate yourself along with your plenary expansion, Lord Balrama. He said that your appearance in this incarnation is for the purpose of protecting the faithful and destroying the miscreants. So anything is, we are in the modes of nature, material nature, goodness, passion, ignorance. Sri Bhagavad Gita chapter 18 explains of 5 factors: the place, the action, the senses, and the supreme soul. So whatever we do, these 5 factors are there. It's not we do it on our, we cannot do it on our own. There's 5 factors: the place and our body, our senses, and the activities of the senses, and above all is sanctioned by the supreme super soul, like this. So any actions under this 5, this 18th chapter Bhagavad Gita explains in very detail, like. So we can see now the messenger is bowing down, and he says 20,000 refuse submit absolute consent during this world conquest have been forcibly imprisoned, and they are in this fort named Giriraja. Dystopia. We have come for your shelter out of fear of material existence. So the messenger is conveying the message that they are fearful of this Jarsanda and of this material existence. So they have come to your shelter, that you are only. People are in this world are engaged in sinful activities and thus bewildered about the real duty, which is to worship you according to your commandments. So when one engages in fruitive activities, he generally has to engage in sinful activities. Uh, uh, People take shelter of, they think the wealth or whatever is connected, they can protect us. But the real shelter is Lord Sri Krishna. Yes, it says here, people in this world are always engaged in sinful activities and thus bewildered about the real duty, which is to worship you according to your commandments. This activity truly bring them good fortune. That means one has to perform yajna, sacrifice, chanting of the holy name. One should not give up this. One should perform austerities for the pleasure of Lord Krishna, and one should worship the Lord. One should not give up this process. Otherwise, we'll be implicated in sinful activities. Because whatever activities in this world, we try to enjoy the fruits of their work. So our duty is to worship. This activity truly bring them good fortune. Let us offer obeisance to all Lord of happiest times. Suddenly cut out one stubborn hope for a long life in this world. So he says, let us offer obeisance to all powerful Lord who appears as time and suddenly cut down one hope for a long life in this world. So we see time is very powerful. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I am time. And time comes, I destroy everything. So one may be powerful in material estimation, but everybody is under the grip of time. Nobody can overcome this law of nature. State law one can overcome, but law of nature one cannot overcome. So how can one? We have to obey the instructions of Lord. That we have to obey the instruction of Sadhu, Guru, and Shastra, saintly person, and what the saintly person says according to scriptures, we have to accept it. Like for animals, there is no law. Animal can break the law. He can cross the road. But human beings, if they don't obey the state law, they get punished. So what to speak about law of nature? Law. So one has to be obedient. And it's very difficult to overcome this material nature. But by surrendering to Lord, one can overcome this material nature. And surrendering means we have to perform activities for the pleasure of Krishna. Always think of Krishna, worship Krishna, and offer obeisance to Krishna. And Krishna guarantees this, you will come to me. Always think of Krishna, worship Krishna, and offer his respectful obeisance to Krishna. Always remember Krishna. And you will, this is real good fortune, means to engage in devotional service. That's the real. So very wonderful science of Krishna consciousness. We'll be reading from this. You cannot suppress the law of material nature, Krishna Prabhupada says in this. Human life has got a very great responsibility. If you do not execute that responsibility, then by the laws of nature, again you are put in the cycles of cats and dogs. You cannot say, no, sir, I'm not going to be cat again. No, the law is very strict. So, this human life is a very responsible life. Our consciousness, if it's like an animal, then we get naturally that particular type of body, whatever we are attached to. So, human life is a very. That's why Srila Prabhupada in all his chapters says to become Krishna consciousness, uh, engage in devotional service. So that's the real. Always chant the holy name of the Lord. In this way, you remember Krishna always. So we have to always pray to the Lord for and His pure representative for His mercy, blessings, and we have to seek blessings from the devotees always. This We are very small. Even a great devotee sings that Amara Jivan Sada Papirat. My life is full of sinful activities. When Sanatan Goswami asked, or Sanatan Goswami asked, they say, I'm a great learned person. People say me, but I'm such a fool. I don't know who am I. Uh, says. And there's another song in Vaishnav song. Is that I get a birth in a lower in the worm, become a worm. No, he's considered himself so much low like that. So it's always humility. One has to become very humble in front of Lord. One has to become very humble in process of our devotional service. Humility is the this price. Therefore, human life is got very responsive. If you do not execute that response, then by the laws of nature, again you put in the cycle of cats and dogs. Like it says, Vyasasan. Vyasasan means one has to become a Goswami. He has to control his senses. But this process of Krishna consciousness is nice. In time, it forces us to become humble. Cannot in old age we cannot do anything. Hare Krishna. Our eating, sleeping, everything will go like that. You cannot eat also, you cannot sleep also properly, like that. So one has to practice this thing. Human life is very great. If you do not execute that responsibility by laws of nature, again you put in the cycle of cats and dog. You cannot say that, no, sir, I'm going to be cat again. No, the law is very strict. Devi Shagunamaya. You cannot surpass the laws of material nature. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, you cannot transgress any law. You know that even by for your personal, if you eat more, then immediately you're diseased, you'll be sick. You cannot very nice. If you want to eat more, then next day you have to starve, you'll be sick. So you have to accept the same thing as allotted by the Lord. So what is allotted by the Lord, one has to take, one should not take more than that, what is necessary than that. Like even in the species of other species also, if when grain bag of grain is kept, the animals will take how much it required. An elephant or a dog and or a pigeon, it doesn't take more than required. But human being take more than required. They try to lord over nature. Human being have a minute independence. They want to and in that minute independence free will, and they try to lord over nature, like that. The only responsibility is for understanding self-realization. And that's what. If Hare Krishna. We are part and parts of Krishna. We are spirit, soul, we are Brahman. So Krishna is Parama Krishna, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vigra, Anadiradi Govinda, Sarvakarana Karanam. He is the Supreme Personate Godhead. Even Arjuna says, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, you are the Supreme Controller, you are the Supreme Absolute Truth. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, you are the Supreme Abode. Param Pavitram, you are the most purest. So one should approach the purest as Krishna. This means always chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. One should cleanse the heart. And as long as our heart is not clean, our mind is not clean, we cannot progress in our spiritual life. So it's like fight against Maya. Uh, so we have to understand if nobody is independent. He is dependent on Krishna. Then he can be happy in this life. Otherwise, he has to suffer. Maya will kick him in many ways, from body, from mind, from climate, and other living entities constantly. As long one does not surrender to Krishna or dependent on Krishna, and then if he will be dependent on Krishna, then he will become happy. It's very nice. So this material world means we want to enjoy this world. Krishna bhulya jiv bhogvancha kare. Maya pashati. As soon as we deny to serve Krishna, immediately Maya, like state law, become criminal. Go to. So we cannot defy the laws of nature. We cannot defy the laws of government. Then we are punishable. Then, so this is going on because we are in illusion. We are thinking advancement of civilization. Even Kunti Maharani says this, all this Nice. Everything is flourishing. The rivers are flowing. The trees are giving fruits. Then why? What's the use of artificial way of life? So this it squeezes the human's energy. Material activities squeezes one's energy like that. So we have to serve Krishna, otherwise we will be under the grip of material nature. And material world means the false attraction between man and man. Not only in human society, in all species of life, birds, beasts also you will find, even the pigeons also. So let us unite. Same thing. So we have to understand that we are bound up with this material world, and the cause of that between man and woman. This is the cause. Enjoy. Yeah, the male and female both are purusha. Everyone has got that feeling. I shall enjoy. Nobody is feeling I shall be enjoy. So actually, everybody thinks I am the enjoyer. Even a male body or a female body, he thinks I am the male. I am the enjoyer. Both things. So nobody wants to be predominated. Everybody wants to become predominated. So Krishna conscious means not to become the predominator. It's of the Krishna perspective. I'm the predominator. Krishna is the predominator. Uh, just surrender to me. Why are you trying to be predominant? That is not possible. Krishna bhulya jiv. So one should not try to be master. One should not try to be the controller. You have to be always dependent on Krishna. Or the material nature is very strong. It comes in the form of time. He says. So I am the monarch of all I survey. Whatever I survey, that is my property. This is false inclination. This is the cause of bondage within this material world. We should not think we should know that we are aham, I am spirit soul. And we learn from Krishna. Na jayate mriyate. We learn from Krishna. Bhagavad Gita says we are spirit soul. We never die. Only the body changes. This is conditioned life. That is called. I am not to be. I am part and of Krishna. Krishna is free. I am also. I am his part and parcel. A gold particle. So all the qualities of the gold is there. So unless a civilized man is trained up to understand this problem's life, what is that life? That is animal life. So one has to be inquisitive. Why am I suffering? Like the animals, they cannot inquire. They are standing in the slaughterhouse. One is they are following. One is entering this slaughterhouse, and all others are following. So, yes, it's beautiful. Uh, so there's Srila Prabhupada's in India. There's a marriage party, and marriage party, the bridegroom is decorated like a king, and he's sitting on a horseback. So they play nice music and this, and then says we made him a king for a day. एक दिन का राजा बनाया, पूरी जिंदगी का गुलाम बना दिया. We made nice, we played music, a band baja बना के उल्लू बना दिया. Means we played nice music, we made nice, made him like a king for a day and made him a slave for whole life. So this training is there from in spiritual life. That's brahmachari, then there's grahastha, then vanaprastha and sannyasa. And that also we have to become very regulated, very nice. So so this training should be there. Otherwise it's a graha medi. They do not know the rules. One has to become a grahastha ashram. That is what it says on. So one has to know the science of Krishna. Kipa vipra kipa nyasi jai Krishna tattva. So human prosperity is not dependent on this. All this is Kunti Maran is saying all these cities and villages are flourishing because the herbs and grass are abundant. The trees, fruits, full of rivers are flowing, hills full of minerals, ocean full of wealth, and this is all due to the mercies Lord Krishna's glance. So all is because of Krishna's glance. We have to understand everything. The source of everything is the absolute truth, the Supreme Lord Krishna. Whatever we eat also, we breathe also, air we is provided by Krishna. So human prosperity flourishes by natural gift, not by gigantic industrial enterprises. The giant Indian enterprises are products of godless civilization. They cause destruction of the noble aim of life, human life. The more we go on increasing such troublesome industries to squeeze out the vital energy of the human energy, the more there will be unrest and dissatisfaction of the people in general. Although only a few only can lavish by exploitation. So Generally, this all this modern civilization, they squeeze most thousand people work, and out of that, few people enjoy, because those may be very technically or whatever business minded. Very few people enjoy. Most of them they just work. Nowadays, people work more than 8 hours. They have to work 14 hours just for the same cup of bread. Srila Prabhupada says the giant industrial products of godless civilization. They cause the destruction of the noble aims of human life. The more we go on increasing such troublesome industry to squeeze out the vital energy of the human being. Generally, when we see people in Krishna, when an exalted personality comes, a saintly person, and we see the general mass of people, those who are engaged in mundane activities, they are very morose. They are always in anxiety. They are very like squeezed. But a saintly person, he looks very effulgent because of his engaging in soul activities. So Srila Prabhupada said, the gigantic industrial enterprise are products of a godless civilization, and they cause the destruction of the noble aims of human life. The more we go on increasing such troublesome industries to squeeze out the vital energy of the human being, the more there will be unrest and dissatisfaction of people in general. Although only few can live lavishly by exploitation. So they are always in anxiety, hankering and lamenting. They are always in anxiety. We are always disturbed like that. Even like he says, like a young uh, old man cannot be thought, because the old man always his whole life is engaged in material activities. Uh, so same way you cannot teach him in the old age like that. So this process of Krishna conscious one should take from childhood like that. So because he was always engaged in material activities, so he brings the same mentality like that. Like, brains very important to each thing's knowledge is very this like you say human prosper flourish by nature if not by giant industry. The gigantic industrial enterprises are products of a godless civilization. They cause the destruction of the noble aims of life. The more we go on increasing such troublesome industries to squeeze out the vital energy of the human, the more there will be unrest and dissatisfaction of people in general. Only a few can be lavished by exploitation. The natural gifts, grains, vegetable fruits, rivers, hills, jewels, and minerals, sea is full of was supplied by the order of the Supreme. So no company can manufacture water or air. If they bring also hydrogen and oxygen, they cannot produce rain like they may buy artificial this. So everything is provided by the Lord. So one has to be satisfied with these things. But in modern age, what how can we apply these things like, so everything in other words one has to lead a simple life. uh, Vaishnava means very simple, like he just is satisfied with bare necessity of life. But in this age, as time goes, people have to work harder and harder and harder. Yes, things have become very difficult like that. You cannot, even if you give money, also you don't get good stuffs now, and everything has become costly. It's predicted in the Bhagavatam like that. If you people have to work very hard, nature will restrict even the fruit products, everything. This is what we should. So one has to perform charity, otherwise is duskruti. If people become more miser like that, they don't engage in appreciating the glories of Krishna, and then they become. Then the nature also will restrict them. So we have, so Krishna says, Lord is saying, one has to have faith. Uh, Shraddha Shabde. I will protect you in every way. Aham tvam sarvapapebhyo. Krishna is saying, you will protect it, just surrender unto me. That faith we have to have. Adho Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha. And we have to approach a saintly person. And who is a saint? Who's Ananya Bhakta, not an ordinary devotee, one who knows nothing other than the Lord. He is known as a saint. He has no other business. He only knows Lord. That's Krishna and nothing else. Krishna is my whole and souls. Apichet sudrucharo. The Lord says such a person is a saint. Apichet sudrucharo. Bhajate mam ananya bhav. Sadhurevacha. Ananya bhav. He doesn't know anything other than Krishna. He knows nothing. Krishna's to Bhagavan. Surrender and the lotus feet. Service, worship, obeisances. They are called saintly person. These are the description of saintly person. But the Lord has himself called a saintly person. Those who know nothing than Krishna, he is a saintly person. Like Arjuna, why is he saying we should associate with saintly person? So association of saintly person is not difficult. If you cannot find any saintly person, then Arjuna is a saintly person. Listen to what he has to say, how he has accepted the Lord. So if you don't find any saintly person also, you have to accept the words of Krishna. Arjuna, Krishna's word, Arjuna is accepting. We have to accept that. So that's what Param Brahma, Param Dhamma. So yeah, Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So Krishna is the absolute truth. Very wonderful. So these few things we heard from on this chapter about Krishna's daily activities and how the messenger comes and approaches Lord Sri Krishna and says they are all surrendered devotees. How come they are suffering like that? So it seems like that, but and it's everything is under influence of time. Like the demigods also and the demons, when they had fight, it seems that the demons are progressing, but within time, everything the demons also like Hiranyakashipu was so powerful. He gave so much trouble to Prahlad Maharaj, uh, and then finally, Hiranyakashipu was killed by Narsimha Dev. So yeah, any comments, any questions? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So one has to work, one has to perform activities for the pleasure of Lord Sri Krishna. Anything other than Krishna. One has to be unattached to the fruits of his work. So that's renunciation. Renunciation means no material activities, and renounce means not to attach to the material activity, fruits of the results. He has to offer to Krishna. Hare Krishna. Anything? Any comments? Any questions? Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samatma Sudurlava Bahunam Janmanti. Yeah, Vasudeva Krishna is yes.
It seems a very significant question that is being asked of Lord Krishna. How is it that demoniac entity like Jarasandha is appearing to be flourishing and getting the fruits of his work? And the saintly kings are actually suffering. They've been imprisoned by him. So it seems a very valid question that how is it even in the general world that persons that are exploiting material nature, that they, as you said, maybe it's a few, but a few are actually flourishing or appearing to flourish. So it's a very valid question. So that's just the thoughts.
Nice. Hare Krishna. Nice, Mataji's hearing. Hearing is very important in spiritual life and contemplating on that particular subject. So, in the association of devotees, this hearing becomes very powerful. It's very pleasing to the ear and heart. But this hearing also is not so easy. Maya also makes us deviate from this. So one has to hear very attentively. One has to chant very attentively. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. One focus, we have to chant Hare Krishna. So, yeah, it seems like material civilization, few flourish, and but it's a matter of time only. We can see all over the world. There's war, there's destruction. Nature is trying to give disturbance many ways. Uh, People are more unsatisfied, more disturbed, more and more. It's happening all over the world. All the news we see, bad news are increasing. Good news. Yeah, so one has to be very attentive in his devotional service. One has to hear very attentively. One has to. So this is very important to progress in our spiritual life. Our whole progress of spiritual life to hear very attentively, and chant the holy name very attentively. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, and that's possible in the association of devotees only. Any comments? Any questions? And more, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. One has to become free from sinful life. The more one is free from sinful life, more he becomes purified.
You just said that everyone is getting more and more disturbed, and you mentioned a couple of comments in that regard. Um, and then you mentioned the chanting of the Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. What is your absolute opinion of why that mantra will help in these very dark days?
Hare Krishna. Satyug, Tretayug, Dwapayug, and Kali Yuga. In Satyug also there were demons. Um, it seems they were flourishing like that. Satyuga, the process was meditation. Dwapar Yuga, there was temple worship. Dwapar Yuga, temple worship. And Treta Yuga, fire sacrifice. Kali Yuga, holiness. Satyuga, meditation, fire sacrifice. And Treta Yuga, yeah, Dwapar Yuga, temple worship. And Kali Yuga, the chanting of the holy name is recommended. So in Brihat Puran, it's mentioned Harir Nam, Harir Nam, Harir Nam Kevalam, Kalonas Nastiva, Gatiranyata. In this age, people are not so fortunate. Their duration of lifespan, everything is less. So we can have a particular practical experience also. We chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. If we sit and chant and hear this holy mantra with concentration, with determination, the more we chant, like Srila Prabhupada says, chant 16 rounds. 16 rounds like that. So when we try to practice this on our day-to-day progress, we see that we are progressing in spiritual life like that. And when we don't do that, we don't progress in spiritual life. And to chant Hare Krishna, it needs a lot of austerity. It's not so simple. It seems like that. And that also with attention, and that also free from sinful life like that. So we are always in the modes of nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. All our activities under these modes of nature: goodness, passion, ignorance. And Krishna consciousness is on the transcendental platform. So this, Srila Prabhupada says, this is not in mundane sound vibration. It comes from the spiritual world. Golokera premadana harinama sankirtan. Um, it comes from so golokera premadana harinama sankirtan. But one Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that namna makari bauda nija sarva saktis. Everything is there in the holy name, invested all potency. But I am so unfortunate, I have no attraction to this holy name. So any activities, our devotional activities also in goodness, passion, ignorance. Our eating also is in goodness, passion, ignorance. All our actions are under in these three modes of nature. So when we are in goodness, there is knowledge. In passion, there is little knowledge. Ignorance, there is no knowledge like that. So when we chant Hare Krishna, we are addressing Lord Sri Krishna. Means, oh Lord Krishna, please engage in your service. So it begins with the tongue. With these senses, we cannot understand the name form of the Lord, because it's so much material contaminated. It's millions of life we were engaging in sense gratification, eating, sleeping, defending. And so we need the mercy of Lord. We need the mercy of a pure representative Lord. We have to follow the sadhu. We have to follow the shastras, and be very determined that avishya rakshipe Krishna. We have to have that faith. Adho Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha, Tata Bhajan Kriya, Tata Anartha Nivritti. So one should associate it with a very advanced devotee of the Lord. Adau Shraddha. One should have faith that. So like we go catch a plane, like we don't say the pilot that you'll take me to New York, right? We have faith that pilot will take to the destination. Or if we go to a saloon, he keeps razor in the neck. We don't say we have faith that he won't cut his throat like that. So we have to have faith in the scriptures. And the scriptures says, Bhagavad Gita also says, Krishna also says, Satatam kirtayanto mam, always chant my name. Surrender unto me, I'll free you from sinful reaction. So one should have first faith, first ado shraddha. And that faith can be with, associating with a saintly person. Now, one saintly person means who? One is who is a saintly person? Saintly person means he has no other business. He has only Krishna. That's only his activities. He want to please Krishna in all ways. And when we come in such a contact with a saintly person and we follow the scriptures, then we progress in spiritual life. Like I said, we chant Hare Krishna, we chant some mundane name, we will be tired, but we chant Hare Krishna, we come purified. So it takes many millions of life we engage in this activities. So it's not that all of a sudden today I take to Krishna consciousness, I will come to the pure stage. We have to have faith in the holy name of the Lord.
Okay, very quickly, when we're doing so much in-house, meaning at their temple or individually, do you feel which is more important, us as the members of ISKCON to be purifying, or if when we're doing those very large um, activities out in the public and they hear the sound vibrations, would that be more effective? Because we have books, and the books are unbelievable, some of the best. But today, people aren't reading. So, hearing in very large groups, would you say that might be more effective? Because very few people are reading these days. They're going to the internet or whatever. And so when we have the very large functions on the outside and they hear the massive group of us saying the Maha Mantra, because the people are not thinking about foolishness, no matter what mindset they have, because they see and they hear. Would you say that's more effective if they're kind of in a very dark mode than trying to explain at a very intellectual level? Okay, here's the bead bags and here's the 16 rounds and all of that, because people aren't that focused. Their minds are so frazzled with foolishness. I I think the kirtans on the outside or the harinams and the big functions where they hear the vibrations might be more effective, because where our whole purpose is to spread the Maha Mantra and to help to purify. And many times we're not getting out there enough because the books are wonderful. But what is your opinion?
Hare Krishna. I said it, Sadhu, Guru, and Shastra. We have to have this knowledge of these scriptures. Um, we have to approach a saintly person and render tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upagde. One should approach a self-realized soul and render service to him like a menial servant, inquire from him about the absolute truth, and he will partake, give you the knowledge. So now you say like people general they have no knowledge. We preach to Krishna consciousness. In other words, in temple we chant Hare Krishna. What's beneficial? This is two things. One is Bhajananandi and one is Goshtanandi. Bhajanandi is satisfied with his own bhajan, and Goshtanandi he wants to give it to others. This knowledge. So one who preaches this knowledge to others, he advances very quickly. In other words, we can see in the life of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada at the age of 70, he cooked himself, he cleaned himself, he distributed it to whether they are qualified or not qualified. Because anybody, when it comes to Krishna consciousness, it's very difficult to train him like to become Krishna conscious. It takes, we have to take a lot of, we have to tolerate. They say it takes gallons of blood to make a devotee, or one moon is sufficient than many stars. So as devotees, we would try our best, and the rest is to Krishna. We try sincerely, then the effect will be there. If we are serious, if we are sincere, then naturally there will be progress. And from hearing from a bona fide representative of God is very powerful. Krishna, our parampara is Krishna spoke to Brahma, Brahma spoke to Narad, Narad spoke to Vyasdeva, and then Vyasdeva spoke to, like that. It comes from, we are from Madhva Brahma, Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. That's Madhavacharya, and from Madhavacharya, then Lord, like the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then Gaur Kishore Bhakti Bhaktivinoda Thakur, then Srila Prabhupada, and then his disciples, like that. So they all come in a disciplic succession, like that. So purity, sincerity, and following the scriptures and applying it in life. So that's very powerful, like that. Sincerity in bottom line, sincerity and seriousness. Purity is the force, yes. The more we are pure, if we just like a parrot, parrot also is doing, but when it comes to catch it, it will go quack, 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 quack. So it should not be like a parrot, like that. Our real test is there, what we do at the time of end of our life. Yeah, it will act. So it's important. Congregational chanting also is powerful, beneficial, and devotional service we do in the temple, that's also beneficial. The more it's beneficial we do along with devotees, that's more beneficial. And more we are dedicated, 100%, the more it becomes more effective. Hare Krishna. I hope so. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Puran ki jai.